Good evening and welcome to Summers County Board of Education regular meeting. It is Thursday, February the 11th, 2021, and it is 6 p.m. Item 1, roll call. Let the minutes reflect that all 5 board members are present in the building. This time I'd ask Mr. Brogan to lead us an invocation and pledge allegiance.
Our Father in heaven, we just want to thank you, Lord, for giving us another day. Thank you, God, always for the health and strength we have to be able to do our daily tasks. Father, we thank you that it's like we might have turned the curve on the coronavirus, COVID-19. Father, the numbers are way down, and we're thankful for that. We just pray to continue to be that way. God, we thank you for all those that work in the Summers County school system to make all things go. We just thank you for each one. Lord, we just pray that you'd go with us through this meeting. May we give each item on the agenda the proper attention. May everything we do be for the betterment of Summers County schools. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, approval of agenda and/or adjustments. I would move that under item 5, we strike the 2 presentations. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion on the floor of the chair, second by Mr. Angel, to strike the 2 presentations into item 5. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Does any other member have anything that they would like to make as an adjustment on the agenda? If not, the chair moves that this board approve the agenda subject to the strike that we just completed.
I'll second.
Motion on the floor of the chair, second Mr. Brogan, this board approve the agenda as presented by the superintendent subject to the strike on the previous motion. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining. 5 votes in affirming this agenda has been approved. No public comments?
No, sir.
Okay, let's go to item 6, approval of minutes, January 28, 2021, board minutes regular meeting. Vice President Farley.
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes as read.
Chair seconds that. There's a motion by Vice President Farley, second by the chair, that this board approve the minutes of the January 28, 2021 board meeting as presented to us by the superintendent. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstaining? Opposed? Let the minutes reflect that the January 28, 2021 minutes have been approved. Student success stories.
We're going to hold off. One of the elementaries does want to talk about a student success
That'd be
story.
great. We'll
Yep.
do that next meeting. Instructional initiatives,
Mr. Lester will present next board meeting, like you
Okay.
said earlier.
community volunteerism.
Well, it's I'll call it community volunteerism. I just want to thank Dina and Sandra again, our 2 nurses, for running interference for us with all the vaccines that were given. 140 vaccines have been given, and working with Marcia Hicks, my secretary, and Dina and Sandra, they were able to squeeze in 10 more employees tomorrow, but Raynell said they have to come to them. So we're allowing them to get over there to Raynell, get their shots. That's their first round, but we were able to squeeze them in. And so I want to thank them for all their help to make sure we're not only 140 got their shots, but 10 more on top of that. But I will tell you today, it was a little tough. We had quite a few people that had a tough bout today with that second round. We had a lot of people calling sick, no fault of their own. It's been told that that second shot can make a person feel pretty sick and tired and woozy, and we have no problem with that. That makes sense. But hopefully they pay now, so you won't have to worry about it later. So we're excited that we had 2 nurses run interference for our county, and we also want to publicly thank Raynell Medical for all that they did. They worked wonders for us, and they adjusted on the fly. So we want to thank them as well.
Anywhere from no impact on the second vaccine to up to 36 hours, and I can attest to 36 hours, and after that, felt great. Okay, we'll move to item 10, approval of bills. The chair moves that we pull the bill from Safe and Sound to be considered separately.
I'll second that.
Motion on the floor, chair, second by Mrs. Farley, that we pull Safe and Sound bill and approve it separate from the other bills. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, 5 votes in the affirmative, we pulled Safe and Sound. So, for all bills, with the exception of Safe and Sound, what say you, Mr. Angel?
I make a motion to pay the bills.
Chair seconds it. There's motion on the floor, Mr. Angel, seconded by the chair, that this board approve the paying of all bills as presented to us by the superintendent, with the exception of Safe and Sound. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained. 5 votes in affirmative, this board has approved the payment of bills as presented to us by the superintendent. At this time, we want to put before the board the paying of the bill Safe and Sound. Mr. Angel?
Make a motion, we pay Safe and Sound.
Chair seconds it. There's a motion on the floor, Mr. Angel, seconded by the chair, that we pay Safe and Sound bill as presented to us by the superintendent. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining. Let the minutes reflect there's 4 votes in affirmative to pay Safe and Sound. There is an abstention by Board Member Brogan. Moving forward, any transfers and supplements?
No, sir.
Okay, no old business. New business, do we have a purchase over 20,000?
Yeah, you should have in front of you, there's 1, 2, 4 of them.
Everybody should have that sheet in their folder.
Should look like this.
Everybody have it? Okay.
The first 2 are mainly from the education, the technology department, and Mr. Lester gave you, for your reading, all the process he has to go through, so he wanted you all to have that. And basically, you can see we're using CARES Act money to purchase all the technology that we can do to help alleviate any roadblocks that have taken so far with this pandemic. And then the next one is pay to Amber Lilly, that's with special ed. I don't know, Dr. Knott, do I need to add anything else for that one?
Okay.
It's the what?
The new occupational therapy.
New occupational therapist, and you can see that we need to have you guys approve that. And then the last one, that's a Mr. Boone from the Transportation Department with Napa, and you're talking about parts. So those are the 4 that we have there for purchases over 20,000.
That you recommend?
Yes.
The chair moves that this board approve the 4 aforementioned purchases over 20,000 presented to us by the superintendent.
Second.
Motion on the floor, chair seconded by Mr. McBride, that this board approve the 4 over 20,000 purchases as recommended by the superintendent. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining. 5 vote in the affirmative. This board has approved the purchase over 20,000 as presented to us by the superintendent.
Do B and C together.
I would say we can do B and C together. Superintendent Warble.
I have no problem with that. Basically, this is what you've done in the past. This is what you do every year. For those out there on YouTube, this is dealing with our LPN and our CNA program. So doing these 2 together, it's a natural fit to approve both these MOUs.
The chair would move that this board approve under 13 items B and C based on the recommendation of the superintendent. The superintendent has just read. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion on the floor of the chair, seconded by Mr. Angel, that this board approve items 13 B and C as presented to us by the superintendent. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining. 5 votes in affirmative. Items 13 B and C have been approved, Mr. Warble. That takes us to item 13D, Superintendent Warble.
You should have a copy here with an agreement from Hinton Area Elementary with Madison Hash. What Madison has agreed to is to help with providing instruction for another teacher's classroom through live streaming. This basically helps us by having another teacher pick up the slack, if you will, for extra students, because it's hard to get subs already. So between the principals and the teachers, this was a creative way to help out with not getting a sub or dealing with that extra work. this teacher has agreed to cover and work with this environment until we get back to 5 days a week in this classroom. And speaking of 5 days a week, I'll talk about that a little bit in my report, okay?
Okay.
This will be short term.
The chair moves that this board approve the recommendation given to us by Superintendent Warble regarding the agreement between Hinton Area Elementary and Madison Hash for supplemental pay.
Second.
Motion on the floor, chair, second, Ms. McBride. This board approves superintendent recommendation for an agreement between Hinton Area Elementary and Madison Hash for supplemental pay. Any discussion? All in favor, please say. You have a discussion?
How long will this last? Do you have any idea?
Well, if we go back to school on March 1st, 5 days a week, till then, the end of this month, basically.
Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining. Minutes should reflect that 5 votes in the affirmative. The board has approved item 13D as recommended by the superintendent. That moves to 13E, discussion and or action concerning a school resource office in the middle/high school. Superintendent Warble.
Ms. Crook and I met with Sheriff Ferris and also the prosecuting attorney this past Monday. I have to think of my days now. Monday, and we would like to provide a school resource officer at the middle school, high school building. And after talking with the sheriff, he let us know about how much money that would cost, and they would like from the Board of Education to have a 5-year agreement. I think it would be good for you guys to understand a little more in depth. If we're gonna have a work session next week, I can go in more detail. I would not wanna put you on the spot to vote for anything right now. But basically, our school resource officer would be paid through a Title IV funding source. So it wouldn't come out of county funds, it would come out of the title funds, the federal funds that come down to Ms. Jones' office. And they're looking at between $40,000 to $46,000 for us to use an SRO for 9 months. The other 3 months, they're on their books. We wouldn't pay for a 12-month employee, we'd be paying for a 9-month. And what would happen is the city would bill us and we would pay that money to the city, and they would do the payroll that way through their payroll department, from what I understand.
Is that run through the city or county?
Or, excuse me, county, thank you, sir.
Okay.
That's why we need to talk about it more.
Well-
Because I want to get everything straight, because there's some ideas that they have on how they would like the program to run. And one of those would be a 40-hour week, so that the officer would work within our school system during our time. The reason why they said 46,000-ish is because 40 is what they're thinking. 6 would be kind of overtime. The reason the overtime would be, let's say a principal and a teacher or someone in the school went with the school resource officer to someone's house after school hours. Well, you need to pay that person overtime. And the reason why we do it that way is because most likely the parents would be done at work, and it would just be a visit. Nobody's in trouble. It's just a wellness check. Hey, we haven't seen you at school. We want to be there for you. We want to use this program in a way that promotes unity with the schools, people who wear a badge, and also those in the fire department, because one Saturday a month already, Mr. Ferris will get back with me on this, but he has ideas for a Police Explore program where they meet once a Saturday, and you get elementary age kids and you get high school age kids maybe to do fire department, police, do some activities that come across in a way that we're not incarcerating you or you're in trouble, but maybe you want to look at this as a job someday and maybe talk about resources that they use within the county, how we all work together. So the goal is to have them go to all the schools, but the majority of the time will be at the secondary level, but they do want to go into the elementaries. And the sheriff did say to me, you don't mind if I just swing by any time in the schools. I said, if you're doing it for us, you can come anytime. So we're going to talk about getting their deputies a key fob so they can come into the schools and they can start being an asset to work with our kids in a positive versus a negative and saying you're in trouble. More like, hey, I want to help you with character development. I want to be there for you. I want to work with you. So our whole thing is to educate, not incarcerate, and we're going to work together on that. He has a lot of great ideas, and I'm excited to work with the new sheriff in town. So I guess I'm a new sheriff on this side of town. He's a new sheriff on that side of town. So we're going to work together, And did I miss anything, Ms. Crook?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Did he say anything about any grant money?
Do you recall that?
We did not talk
I know
about
they
that.
had a program 2 years ago maybe where they paid for the first year, or the first 2 years, and we were responsible for the third year. And it was required that you keep them at least 2 or 3 years.
I'm not aware of that for right now. I know that there could be possibly some stuff through the, like the state justice department, but, we haven't looked down that avenue right now.
Thank you.
On a side note, and this is a dad joke, it's sad, and for you guys that are here, she's a crook, and then I had the sheriff's department. You can fill in the, we had fun with them, don't worry. It was a good, thanks for laughing, I appreciate it. So anyway, I'm done.
Superintendent Ward, I would ask that you put this item on the agenda for the very next
I
time
will.
we meet. At that time, we'll go in more in depth with you on that and put it on there so that it would be an discussion and possible action, so we could deal with that after having a discussion.
Would you all mind if I could invite the sheriff to that?
That'd be great.
Okay.
Be great.
That
We'd
way
love-
he can
love to.
answer more intelligently than I, okay?
Yeah, and we'll go into detail on that
Okay.
at that time, so you
Okay.
can place that on the next agenda, okay?
We'll need to invite
That
him.
brings us to personnel items under item 14. All of you have the sheets before you. They've been posted on the board website for the appropriate time. And you'll notice the superintendent has a recommendation for employment professional, Hazel Toller. He has a recommendation for employment professional substitute, and that is Jessie Medley. We'll do those two together. Turning the page, we'll do the substitute service personnel. We can do that one as well. That is for Ashley Gill. He has a presentation there, been posted. We'll
There's
take the
one with
last
no
two
name.
items. Huh?
There's one with no name, are we?
Did she not get it in yours? Austin Bauer.
Substitute mechanic?
Yep. AUSTINBOWER, is that right, Mr. Boone?
Yes.
Okay.
correct.
That was on the posted agenda though.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine, just a typo here. Okay, we'll deal with those three. So the chair would move that the board approve the superintendent's recommendation regarding employment of professional personnel, Hazel Toller, professional substitute, Jessie Medley, and also Ashley Gill as substitute service personnel, and Austin Bauer. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion on the floor by the chair, seconded by Vice President Farley. This board approves superintendent's recommendations for the aforeread personnel under employment of professional personnel, employment of professional substitute, and employment of substitute service personnel. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Let the minutes reflect that there's 5 votes in the affirmative to approve superintendent's recommendation on those 3 employment issues. We'll come now to resignation, retirement, professional. We have 2 here. We have Chris Vickers, head football coach, Summers County High School. And then we have Jessica McGraw, LPN instructor. Is there,
I'll make a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation.
chair seconds it. There's a motion on the floor by Mr. Angel, seconded by the chair, that the board accept the superintendent's recommendation that we accept the retirement of professional personnel, Chris Vickers as head football coach, and Jessica McGraw as LPN instructor. Any discussion?
The only thing I'd like to say is Chris did a great job with the football program, and he's a good guy, and he'll be missed on the football side of life, but he's still here as a leader, as an assistant principal. And then Jessica, she will be taking a job elsewhere, and we have made arrangements to fill in that replacement. We have a long-term LPN sub, and this person is really interested in taking that position on. So we are covering our bases there because we've struggled enough with the LPN program. We cannot drop the ball at this point in time, but I want to thank both of them for their services. We appreciate them.
On a personal note, having worked with Coach Vickers was on the football staff. He's made a historical record here. He was the first coach here to ever have won 2 playoff games in one season, and that speaks well. And prior to that, you had the opportunity to win more than that, but nobody had. And years ago, even though we had state champions, at that time they only took 2 teams, so there was only 1 game to be won. So we want to thank him for his service here. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining. Minutes should reflect 5 votes in affirmative. The board has approved the resignation retirements of the 2 professional personnel we just discussed. Last item is a leave request professional. We have superintendent recommendation for Taylor Falk, first grade Hinton Area Elementary. Chair moves that we accept superintendent's recommendation for this leave request.
I'll second.
Motion by the chair, second by Vice President Farley. This board accepts superintendent recommendation regarding the leave request professional Taylor Falk. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstaining. 5 votes in affirmative. Superintendent, we have approved that. That brings us to item 15, which would be superintendent's report. Superintendent Warble.
Just to let you guys know, with all of our staff that's been getting vaccinated and seeing at the national level the CDC guidance saying kids should, and students and parents and teachers feel a lot better that we should get back to school. My proposal to you all, we don't have to vote on it right now or anything, but I'd like us to seriously think about going back to school starting March 1st. That's a Monday. If you think 2 weeks from now, that means everybody that did the vaccinations will be inoculated by then with the 90-some% chance of not getting COVID again. Now, having said that, we can't be lazy. We still have to wear a mask. We still have to try to be as socially distant as possible. And we need to make mitigation strategies as much as we can not to cause any more spread of this terrible disease that's been going on in our lives. So the high school principals and the junior high principals, since they're working together under one roof, they let me know that they can make adjustments. And what they would like to do is, instead of having the cafeteria being used for lunch, they're still going to use a classroom and stay with that pod and have lunch, and then minimize the distractions when you switch classes. Because let's be honest, kids will all start seeing each other again, and they're going to be like, hey, how's it going, and get together. One thing that we talked about also is maybe the seniors should have the cafeteria. It's their senior year. Let's try to get them a little bit of a senior year and get back to going in the lunchroom, but spread them out and let them enjoy that time. And then everybody else be in the classroom to have lunch. Elementaries, they've been working on this. They've been going 4 days a week. They said they can handle 5 days a week, and they'll work with that. And then Mr. Boone and all the bus drivers are prepared on the buses. Everybody's been wearing masks and following the mitigation strategies that we have. So just want you all to start thinking about that, and then maybe at the next board meeting, not the work session one that we're going to talk about, but the last board meeting of this month, to think about, okay, let's move forward and go back to school starting March 1st. I also have talked to neighboring superintendents, and they are looking at going either a full-blown 5 days or 4 into 5. But everybody's starting in this part of the state looking to go back 5 days a week and getting back to the traditional setting. Those students who are on option 3 through proximity, they'll just keep doing that because they have their teachers and they've already been doing 5 days a week. And let's be honest, we've paid for the rest of the year for them. So they need to just stick with that. Option 1 and 2, they're coming back to school. They need to come back to school. We got to get these kids caught up. And then we're also going to let parents know in the near future we're going to have summer school. So we're going to get our kids back to school and move forward. If you guys have any questions, I'll take those now. But I don't want you to act on anything. I just want you to think about that as we move forward.
I would ask that you put that on as a new business item, discussion and possible action for the next regular meeting. At which time, and between now and then, I'd ask that we all be looking at and cognizant of CDC guidelines to see if there's any changes on them. But think that's a good proposal. I can tell you that through my travels in the state the last couple of weeks, Wood County is going back full-time February 15th, entire county. That's a large school district, but they're going full-time, all students, 5 days, on February 15th. Monongalia County, their board just voted the other night, they're going back to school full-time. And so there's any number of counties that are making this move. And I noticed today we had 6 active cases. We're green. We only had 6 active cases in Summers County. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we are about out of the woods on this thing. We will still do the mitigations, cleaning and all that, but based on what you mentioned about CDC, I think this is a good move, and we'll discuss it. You'll have it on the agenda the next meeting.
And just real quick, part of Mr. Wittes' presentation, which he can do next week at a work session, was going to let you know what he's come up with walking with engineers. And we are going to make our HVAC systems better for the current schools that have HVACs. For Jumping Branch, who doesn't have the HVAC like all the other schools, we're meeting, Mr. Wittes is meeting with a gentleman, is it Preston tomorrow, from the State Department to walk through our proposal and see if we can use COVID money to buy a brand new HVAC system at Jumping Branch. There's always devil in the details and strings are always attached, but we're inviting them to come here and tell us yay or nay. That way we're in the good either way. We know or we don't know. And I'd rather know and then be done with it. So Mr. Wittes and I will be working with them tomorrow with the HVAC system, and then we'll give you a full report next week at the work session.
We have been using Wednesday as a deep clean day. Are we gonna need another custodian to help clean up, or?
Well, each building now and each bus has those sprays.
Okay.
Brian, I hate to put you on the spot, but I am. What's been working for you guys with buses and the school buildings with the sprays that you can tell them that I know you've done a lot of professional development with it. Can you help answer that question?
Yeah, the electrostatic sprayers that we've been using, they have the product we've been using has a 1-minute kill time. It covers a wide area, it doesn't leave any residue, and it's it seems to be working really well. They're using it in quite a few other counties across the state, and it seems to be a great product, and you don't have to worry about the PPE. It's really safe, so that's been working the best for us, but we're also keeping the hand sanitizer and mask and everything.
So we also can use those in the classrooms then?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Which is nice because now that we have those plastic dividers, just spray them down and not wiping them down. It works so much better.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, we have COVID money. If we see that we're having a need, we'll post a position. But I'll tell you what's scary about that. If you go by that bulletin board out there, there's 12 positions that have been posted. I don't want to say forever, but at least beginning of the school year. So we're trying. We're trying to get people in here. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else, Superintendent Worrell?
No, sir. I'm completed.
As board president, I would like to address the members, the audience, and everyone here. Superintendent Worrell and I have been talking, and there are several issues. One of them we just mentioned about going back to school, but there's some certain financial issues and plannings for which he and I have come up with a strong feeling we need a special meeting, a work session meeting. It'd be called to order as regular. And we'd like to have that next week, and we want to see when people are available. We thought in terms of sometime next Thursday, maybe morning or midday, and how many people can do that?
Earlier the better.
Yep.
Same here.
What did you tell me you could not on Thursday, Mr. McBride?
No, I can't do it Thursday.
Thursday? Superintendent Warble, do you have, could anybody do it on, say, Friday early? Can you do it on Friday, Mr. Brody? Is that okay with you, Superintendent Warble, if Mr. Brody can? Okay.
Yeah, because
We have
really,
flexibility.
you won't really be voting on anything. It's more an informational, so you know what is going on as we move forward. And then we're gonna record everything on YouTube as well, so,
It'll be a work session, but it'll be a publicized
Yes.
agenda meeting, and we will open it like a regular meeting. It'll just give us an opportunity to address certain issues that Superintendent Warble says he thinks he needs to get us thinking about.
especially when you got a county sheriff that would like to talk to you all about the SR program. You got Mr. Widows, who's gonna update you on homeschool situation, how we're gonna try to mitigate that. And then HVAC items, and then, Mr. Lester has a presentation on one of the programs we have, and then anything else just to keep you guys in the loop as we move forward with our school system.
I am good.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay, and I understand you all say the earlier the better.
Yes.
Is that a 8 AM, 9 AM, 10 AM? I'll let you call because I live
What
close
works for
by. I'm
you,
gonna be
Jackie? You're the only one working.
Well,
Kenny works for himself, so he can adjust his hours.
I don't
I
go
don't know,
until
but I
late,
heard
but I
that.
do have to wait until, Jimmy gets off the bus run, so he can be with Sam to,
8:30.
8:30?
Home at 8:30.
okay, so I can,
9
by
o'clock?
9 work?
Mr. Brogan, does that work for you? 9 AM? What about you, Mr. McBride?
No, that's fine.
Okay, then, the chair calls for a special meeting to convene next Thursday, 9 AM. It will be
Did you say Friday, right?
Yes.
Next Friday, yeah,
Okay.
next Friday, 9 AM. And, it will be a work session, and it will need to be, posted subject to Open Meetings Act, just
Yep.
like any other meeting.
and that is February the 19th.
Yes.
That is correct. Now, are there any other items anybody would like to see placed on the agenda for the next regular meeting?
I would like to get an update on the LPM program, if you could.
Okay.
If you wanna bring the instructor in, that's fine. If you don't, what?
Can we do that one in March?
It'll be fine.
And here's why. You're having one leave at the end of this month,
Okay.
and we're gonna get a new person in. Well, I'm pretty sure we will, and so we can give you an update on that. And on the end of the next, since we had, people have reactions to shots, Miss Kathy Duffield, she got 102 temperature, and she still tried to wanna come tonight and present, and I said, no, we can wait. I wanna do it right for her.
Yeah.
So she'll be presenting about the update with what has all taken place at the back 40 and some ideas, and the pictures are wonderful, and it's the back 40 is what I call it. So anyway, you can, coin that phrase if you want, Mr. Brogan. But anyway, we'll have that report as well on the carpentry class, the outdoor carpentry class, and the FFA program.
That it?
Yep.
Vice President Farley, you're on.